Alrighty, folks, we missed Mr. Bo Eckstein last week because he was out getting educated in networking and just doing his thing. But something he took away is the franchise business model is almost going to be $1 trillion business. So I want to figure out what's going on. Why is this the right thing? Why are people looking at it so much? Bo, thank you for doing all you do, going the extra mile for us and sharing what you've learned. What do you got?
So last week I was at a franchising event. This week I'm at the International Franchise Association here in Vegas. Tonight we got one of the speakers is Cody Sanchez, so I'm looking forward to that session. But I've been just networking, and the immediate thoughts I had is in our mind, even though I'm in the industry, we think of Chick-fil-A's and we think of Subways. Yeah. But let me tell you, there's so many franchise malls, literally 3,000, 3,500 in the U.S. And last week I met a gentleman, and he built a cleaning company, and he franchised it. And he sold it. He had 240 units throughout the U.S. He sold it to private equity. So there's a lot of opportunity in franchising. And once you get in and you understand the model and the scalability, it's truly amazing what can be done. And just a little bit of data I've pulled from the International Franchise Association. Franchise output projected to exceed $920 billion in 2026. Establishments growing to 845,000 units throughout the U.S. and employment approaching 8.9 million jobs. Wow. Even in a slowing economy, franchising is expanding. So while some headlines say slowdown, franchise is definitely it's growing. And I think the reason really is what we've been talking about, is that there's a lot of disruption. When I was walking through the booths this week, a lot of AI companies, like everybody's implementing AI into their business, call centers, appointment setting, lead generation, efficiencies. It's not going to replace everything, but you have to understand where it's going to replace you.
Yeah, I think one of the things we're going to experience with AI, and it's going to be unfortunate, is we're going to see destruction first and creation second. I've been through this with the internet, right? I was a sales rep during the internet boom, and we were selling to people like, that didn't exist in a year, right? They were there and then they were gone. There was just money was everywhere. And I think AI is, there's going to be a lot of losses early and then a lot of creation or rebirth. I do think AI is a tool like every other. And I think it's going to be leveraged. And the thing that I look forward to is I think AI is going to empower more people to become solopreneurs. And people are going to adopt. I mean, one of the things that I'm going to throw this out there, right? You and I have talked about baby boomers retiring and having businesses and all of that. Cody Sanchez, you talked about earlier, talks about this. But I just think there's a lot of baby boomers who own a lot of stuff, whether it's boutique hotels or apartment buildings or whatever, bakeries and autos and all of that stuff, that it's time for us to go step up and realize how we can take these over, bring in AI, bring in, the internet, and just take them to the next level. Because I think one thing's going to happen in some parts of the country, Silicon Valley, Seattle, Austin, is we're going to see some very talented people let go, right? And these people are making $250,000, $300,000 a year, and they're going to suddenly need a plan B. And I think some of them are going to turn to franchises, and they're going to like, I'm not going to be, another engineer let go. I'm just going to go take my talents. And yeah, I don't know squat about ACs or electrical, but I can hire that. I'm going to bring the tech background and just automate the crap out of this and bring in VAs and, online agents and all of this. I think that's really coming. I think that the plan B for engineers and computer scientists is coming. What do you think?
I think principles always stay the same, meaning you have to do the work still. It's not easy. But if you can follow systems and you're like a doer and you're hungry, the sky's the limit. And that's really the basis of it. Where people go wrong is, I'm going to buy this and it's going to I'm magically going to
just magic.
Yeah. It doesn't happen in real estate. It doesn't happen in business. But I think for the people that are willing to put the time and work in, I'm going around these booths and I'm just meeting people and I'm learning from them. I'm connecting. I was meeting with a lending company that does non-SBA franchise stuff. And the guy was telling me, you know, how he built his career and all these stuff. So he's just telling me, he gave me nuggets yesterday, which were worth the price of the admission. Like I paid $2,000 to go to this event. Okay.
Wow.
It's not cheap, but I tell you what, I think I'll see a 6-figure plus return. So the point is getting yourself in the right room, learning, be a student and be a doer and learn what's working and then just amplify that. So when you're coming from a corporate world and maybe you haven't owned a business, get some structure from a franchise. It's right. And then maybe in time, you might become the franchisor, meaning you might take a business model and scale it. So I'll give you an example. I had a friend who did what we call entrepreneurship through acquisition. He actually bought a business, rebranded it, and then franchised it. And now he has 200 plus units and he's crushing it. So it's all about learning how things run and operate and then becoming good at that and then hiring for what you're not good at. And if you could figure that out, that's how I think you can, you know, grow your business. Because I think what I see at these events is that I see that there's a ton of money, more money than you can imagine in franchising and in business and in real estate. And when you get in the right rooms, you're like, okay, this is really eye-opening. And I can either just sit here and not talk to people or I can take advantage. And that's what I try to do at every event.
Yeah, there's two things I want to talk about. I want to first talk about your superpower of networking. But before we get there, I just want to once again highlight that, you know, I had a 25-year career in the Silicon Valley working with some of the best and brightest people on the planet. I think there is no question that AI is going to be very disruptive to that white collar segment. I don't think it's going to be the death, but it's going to be disruptive. You know, if you assume that pool of talent is 10,000 people, I'm just making up a number for scale. I don't know that there are 10,000 people in that profession 2 years from now. It might be 7,500. It might be 7,000. So it's not going to zero. I'm not sitting here trying to be, you know, somebody saying this is going to zero. It's just going to be smaller. And I just want those, you know, 3,000 or whatever the number was in this example to realize that you could take your talents elsewhere and you could own the future, right? One of the things you need to realize when you work for someone else is you're working on somebody else's dream. I think some of you have this low burning desire, almost kind of like out here somewhere, that you know you're destined for more. I think about Aaron and Andrea at our last ORAD event. And, you know, not to spill the tea, but it's public, right? It's in our school community. Andrea had some family that had some, you know, mental health decline later in life. And she just saw, you know, not good stuff. And, you know, kind of out here was this passion to create something. You know, fast forward some time and some work and, you know, all of that. They're building a 16-room, 16-bath, you know, compound. And this is the first of likely many. And I just want people to know that, yeah, you know, if it happens, if you're one of the X thousands of folks that lose their job, it's not the end of the world. The Silicon Valley is not everything. In fact, it's a speck on the marble. And you could do so much more. I just want to encourage people. So second, back to your networking. I think everybody has a superpower. For some people, they know what it is, and some people, they found it out later in life. Your superpower is, without question, networking. You're just a bundle of energy, very positive. You know everybody, you share who you know, and it is wild to watch you work an event. So, you know, I'm just so happy to know you, because I always know if I need something, I could tap into your network. So I'm glad to know you. So congratulations.
Yeah, I think networking is key. I mean, even if you're a little bit introverted, just get out there and put yourself. When I go to an event, I have intentions, and like I was literally walking the exhibit hall, and I would stop at every booth and talk. And I can tell you what, like 5 or 10 of those booths, there were some powerful. I met a guy that lives here in Vegas, actually has a SaaS company. And he's like, you know, he came here in 2007 when he moved from Fremont. He bought 25 rentals in 2007. We're at the bottom of the market, right? So he lives on a high-rise condo on the Strip. So guy's got some coin. He has a SaaS company. Those are the kind of people you want to associate with. And as soon as I met with him, I gave him a lead for his software company, and he was so appreciative of it. He's like, let's go out to dinner, this and that. Those are the kind of people you want in your portfolio of contacts. The one big takeaway I will like, and I can clearly say this, most I would say 90% of all successful people, if not higher, there's one thing I see. They're freaking driven. They have that, like, you didn't get where you were from not being 100% focused and driven and almost maybe a little bit compulsive, if not compulsive.
Sure. Olivia would say compulsive. Let's just be clear.
So you can get where you want to go for sure without being a Zuber.
Correct.
But when I get around people, that's one thing you can clearly see is that they are freaking wired differently. So figure out where you're at, and you don't, it's kind of a blessing and a curse to be like a Zuber because he's like that, right? But you have to be like that to, I think, to really reap the rewards.
You got to be like that at least for a season. That's something I've come to realize is people don't realize what they could build in 5 to 10 years, right? You don't have to be crazy like me and do 1,000 videos your first year. But if you're just disciplined to do 2 a week, that'll be 100 a year. And it's amazing what I've seen people do with that. Again, I built a brand by myself from nothing, no marketing, no team. I built a real estate portfolio, just Olivia and I, right? I went on a health journey coached by a doctor that took me from nearly 35 to sub 16% body fat. And I feel freaking amazing. It's all just focus and discipline. What do you want? Go get it, do it daily. It's just that simple.
Yeah. Go to onerentalmeeting.com if you want to talk about getting into a business, SBA financing, all that stuff. I agree 100%. Like once you start getting focused on something, like when I always told myself, oh, you're a bad saver, you're bad with money, your money. Like that's why I like real estate, because I invest and it would be.
You'd park it.
It's called a forced savings account. But once I started paying myself first and I started doing this MCA stuff that I'm doing, it was so cool making a little bit of money and then seeing the compound effect happen. So I think you guys have to have those dashboards. Like I have a dashboard. I'm invested in 318 of these MCAs right now, and I'm seeing 37% annualized return, which is extremely high.
Next time you and I go to lunch, I want to see that. Next time we go to lunch.
Like it is. So the point is like just put it in front of you. So you're looking at it every day. Like I look at it every day now. It's like, okay, now my goal is how quick can I get 500 grand in there? And if I can keep a 30 or 37% returns, that's $200,000 a year plus, right? So what is it for you? And $200,000 covers my overhead and then some, right? Big time. So that's what we want. So anyways, get focused, get wired. I'm going to go network. I'm going to go watch Cody Sanchez today. I'm going to go create 6-figure opportunities with people, because the sky's the limit if you just go and put yourself out there and talk to people and collaborate, use your skills, use their skills, and make something happen.
OneRiddleMeeting.com, OneRiddleMeeting.com. There you go. You're amazing, Bo. Thank you so much. Later.